Yeah, it's April the 20th, and I wanted to start off with a topic that's kind of been churning around in the past several days. Last week, a Pentagon spokeslady named Susan Gough, spelled G-O-U-H or something like that. Anyway, it's not just G-O. Anyhow, confirmed that some videos and pictures that have been leaked of UAPs, as they call them now, or UFOs we used to call them, are confirmed to be authentic, in the sense that I guess that the photos are authentic and are not created as some kind of Photoshop or, fraudulent. And they were taken by Navy personnel. Some of them were off of various naval vessels, cruisers and destroyers, I think, and others were taken by pilots and F-18s. Very interesting development, how that the Pentagon in recent times is becoming more open about this topic. By the way, if you like these videos, remember to subscribe and click the bell if you want to have notifications, and share them with anybody interested. But this is, I say that, of course, this is kind of part of this whole thing that's been out there since the Congress wrote into legislation that gave them 180 days, which should expire sometime in late June of this year, to release a report to Congress on what the intelligence community knows about the subject. And I believe that there will be both an unclassified report for the public and a classified report for the intelligence committee, which probably the really good stuff will be in the Intelligence Committee, a classified version. We're all kind of wondering what they're really going to say, because, of course, this subject has a very long history, and it seems to have been restyled in recent years, largely because of this the whole issue that's been out there for some time with this group called the TTSA, and their efforts to release various things, the Nimitz carrier group videos and so forth, which have been out for some time. And it's a very interesting subject. What's fascinating about all this is the degree to which this is continually focused on the Navy. And of course, historically, if we go up through circa the end of the 1960s, the whole focus was on the Air Force. And the Air Force has been so amazingly silent about this. And there is now a Pentagon UFO, called UAP task force, which apparently kind of evolved out of people that were involved to some degree in the ATIP program, as far as we can tell. I mean, it's still a secretive group to some extent, I guess. And they apparently are part of this effort to provide the Director of National Intelligence with the information that they'll put in their report. And we're all kind of wondering. At any rate, these videos and stills are out there, and show sort of either pyramid or triangular shaped objects. It's interesting how these things come in various shapes and dimensions, which makes the whole subject even more perplexing in a way. I mean, so anyhow, I thought that'd be interesting. I take the subject quite seriously. I have another video out way back where I go into the detail, my own evolution of my own opinions on the subject. And like I say, it is unclear where they come from. I think the one thing we can say pretty much for sure is they're not Earth-based technology. It would actually be more credible to me that if they're really just some kind of anomalous phenomenon that are completely misunderstood, then it would be, say, something from Russia or China, because they simply don't have that level of. I mean, the U.S. probably has the best aerospace technology, and if it's not ours, it's certainly not theirs, I think. But it seems like it's been convenient to sort of style it to some degree like it might be that, in order to get people to take it seriously. Because if you said it was perhaps extraterrestrial, there'd be a tendency to kind of dismiss it. So, in other words, it's been the whole effort has been pushed along the lines of, hey, we're just seeing these things and they're messing around with our military. We ought to know what they are, which makes sense, right? I mean, if there's something messing around with your military in restricted airspaces, we should know what they are. but I don't think we're going to find out. I don't think they're going to be able to blame this one on the Russians. So, at any rate, I thought I'd kind of address that subject. We'll see what happens next. Looking forward to late June, I guess, when they come up with the information. The other thing, I guess, and as we continue this week, of course, we're awaiting the decision in the Derek Chauvin trial. I hear that Maxine Waters is weighed in on the subject, and she wants a murder conviction, and then it looks like that President Biden is praying for the right decision. I wonder what that might be. I would think an acquittal would be fun, but you know, and not only that, but I think it's merited. I've said in videos, I really am skeptical that this knee on the neck could have possibly killed a healthy person the way it was done. I mean, I don't think it would have. So that's just my opinion. That something else had to be involved, because I don't think it restricted his blood flow or his air. And you know, and of course, the other thing that I don't know if the defense even hit this hard enough in the trial, which kind of bugged me a little bit, is that he was saying he couldn't breathe from the outset of the interaction when they tried to get him into the car. So it wasn't like he only started saying he couldn't breathe when he was on the ground and somebody was on top of him. He was saying he couldn't breathe the whole time, just about. So I don't think that whatever his breathing problem was due to that alone, at any rate, or even that principally due to that. But we'll see what the jury comes up with. The other possible, I guess, is it could split into groups and hang, but I guess the prevailing opinion is they're going to convict him of something. And given the possibility that the feds will jump in, as in the Rodney King case, maybe getting convicted of something would be his least miserable outcome, even if it's unfair. I mean, you know, if he gets convicted of, I don't know, manslaughter, maybe the feds won't jump in and try the case again, perhaps, or maybe they will anyhow. I don't know. It's all dubious to me, because I think that, but we should know shortly, I guess. And of course, the other thing that's still out there is the ongoing push for the Democrats to raise the issue of packing the court. They seem to think that because they feel the Republicans cheated them by getting 2 appointments through they don't think that we deserved, they therefore believe they have the right to add 4 appointments of their own. That's an interesting logic, isn't it? that they should get 4 appointments in return for 2. And although I don't see there's any real cheating, because no new slots were open, and I guess they're really upset they didn't put Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court back in the last term of last year of Obama's reign. But at the same time, of course, there's also there's also the conspiracy theorists can talk about the mysterious death of Anthony Scalia, which was kind of strange in itself. I mean, he was found like dead in a bed with a pillow over his head, out there with no security at some hunting lodge or something. So there might, although the family never contested it, and as far as I know, I don't believe any autopsy was ever done, so I'm not spreading the conspiracy theory that he was murdered, but I think the way it kind of went down, I can kind of see why the Republicans in the last year were remiss to not to appoint a Democrat appointee. And by the way, let's be real here. If the shoe was on the other foot, the Democrats would have done the same thing, and we know they would have. So they can quit their belly aching, in my opinion. But if they do go ahead and blow up the whole system as we know it, then we're going to be in for somewhat of an unstable government, I think, over time, assuming that the political powers change hands. Or even if they don't, I think there's going to be a lot of pushback and lack of. Anytime that people see the system is not fair, you start having trouble. So, but hopefully none of this will happen, and Joe Manchin will keep his word, and and the filibuster won't be ended, and so this won't be possible anyhow. But at any rate, so that's kind of what's on the agenda for midweek here, and I guess the main thing is we're waiting to see the trial and just how intense the riots really will be. Until next time.